host of the Gridiron.
Is it, it's like, is it getting harder and harder not to fire Daboll? It's just like he has no answers. He just has no, we're going out there and we're getting the same results. We're just getting, now, getting blown out. I mean, one of the toughest things obviously to do is as judges, like, well, how much is it because of the quarterback or we're cycling quarterbacks in and out because we don't have much of a choice because DeVito went in there, then he got injured with a forearm, right? And then we put Locke in there, and then he got injured, and we put Tommy Chicken Cutler Parmesan back in there, and he got a concussion. Now we got Drew Lock in there, and he might be injured because of it's like all the injuries we have, and it's how much of it is is it obviously the injuries, obviously the offensive line play or lack thereof. There's no cohesion in there because we keep putting different players in there. How much of it is it the coaching? But the guy just doesn't seem to have any answers. I could say that. Just obviously, guys, just not good enough. We lost 142-0 today. Yeah, just wasn't good enough. You put that on me. Okay. Then the next week, we lost 172-3 today. Just wasn't good enough. You put that one on me. It's like, it's somewhere along the line, you just, I don't know. But there's some guys here. Say, everybody must go. Giants disaster. 2-time Super Bowl champion says everyone must go in New York. Now it's still going to be a little interesting to see because I know Mara. One thing is that obviously keep churning through these. They've never had their quarterback, right? So to have Shane / Daboll come and go, get rid of them or whatever without them actually having their own quarterback. And I'm looking at the pick six right now. Just didn't see the guy. Just jumped. Number 3 just jumped right in front of the ball. Ran it back for a touchdown. Drew Lock just staring over there. Here it comes. And there it goes. Pick 6. So the Giants continued to fall to the bottom of the NFL in a rather embarrassing fashion. The latest loss, which drops them to 2-13, was a 13-4 shellacking at the hands of the Falcons, who started rookie quarterback Michael Penix for the first time. The game was clouded with an array of turnovers, 3 by the Giants, including 2 pick sixes. On top of that, New York amassed 10 total penalties for 85 yards. All that now is 2-time Super Bowl champion and current CBS Sports NFL analyst Bryant McFadden saying that New York must have no other options other than to blow it up and hit the reset button. He said, watching the Giants today, everyone must go, in my opinion, McFadden said on CBS. The reason why I say that is because it's one thing to be a bad team based on lack of talent or lack of experience or dealing with injuries, which the Giants are. But you cannot tolerate the effort or lack thereof. You cannot tolerate not being competitive because even if you lack talent, you still will see you'll see fight. You still would see a competitive edge being displayed by that said team. We're not seeing anything from the Giants right now. They're undisciplined in terms of mental errors. They're undisciplined in terms of just bad penalties. Once again, double-digit penalties, 10 penalties. He said that's losing football. It feels like the locker room is gone, and that is the ultimate sign in terms of shaking up the personnel in terms of the coaching. Now, I don't know how he knows the locker room is gone. He's not in the locker room. Let's see. He says the entire masthead seems to be on the hot seat in New York, including Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll. Both have been on the job since 2022, and the Giants have gone 17-30-1 over that stretch. With things devolving, with the organization. McFadden also wanted allowed how this can impact players' willingness to come to the Giants, particularly via the NFL draft, which is true. Personally, when you look at this organization, you don't see one bright spot toward the future. McFadden said, well, there are bright spots. He's just not seeing them or whatever. I mean, if you don't see, Andrew Thomas or Malik Neighbors or Tracy, Andrew Phillips, Newman, if you don't see those guys, I can't help you there. It says in terms of maybe the scheme, maybe the effort, maybe just the fighting and clawing, they're not doing either of right now. Their minds are basically on the offseason. So now when you look at ownership, what do you need to do to shake it up? I can tell you this much. If I'm hypothetically speaking, Deion Sanders, and you're telling me that you drafted my son, Shador, to come into that bad environment, he said, no. Giants are currently battling, have the number 1 overall pick, and yeah, I mean, obviously, right, that, with Saquon in there, not Saquon, Deion, right? He wants a good situation for his son. Now, I don't know. I don't know. See, the Giants are picking 1, the Patriots are 2, but they don't need a quarterback. The Jaguars are 3, they don't need a quarterback. But you look at the Titans, the Browns, and the Raiders. Where do you want to go? Where would you want to go? If the Giants don't draft Shador, where would you want to go? Do you want to go to the Titans? Is that a good situation? To me, you want to go to the Browns? They got a good defense. I guess maybe the Browns. You want to go to the Raiders? That's, it's just, I don't know. Then you got the Panthers, right? They don't need a quarterback. Got to give those guys a lot of credit, the Panthers. Got to give them a lot of credit. You want to go, the Jets are next? You want to go to the Jets, that organization? Oh, my God. Then you got the Bears and you got the Saints at number 10, but he's not falling to number 10. So I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. The question deserves to be asked. If the Giants season doesn't warrant John Mara cleaning house, what does? How far have the Giants standards fallen if they actually considering retaining Schoen and making head coach Brian Daboll walk the plank? How can anyone trust their judgment if Mara is generally looking at Schoen's first 3 years of work and claiming confidence in GM's ability to pick players and build a competitive team? Well, this last year's draft, he really did a good job. He did a fantastic job. Now, you can question the 2022, 2023 drafts. They're starting to, you can see some chinks in the armor there. But this past draft, with the 6 picks he had, I think he knocked that out of the park. Did a fantastic job. Now, if you can do the same thing this coming draft, get another 5 or 6 really good players like you did here. Now we're talking, and then sprinkle in a couple of free agents, which we're going to talk about in our next portion of the program here. Sprinkle in some good free agent or 2, real good, a difference maker, right? And obviously, and get your quarterback of the future, right? Things can be kind of exciting here. Teams lose in the NFL. It happens week to week and year to year. What teams don't often do, though, is regress to the point where they struggle to put a team on the field for regular season games. Well, that's got to do with injuries. When was the last time? Has there ever been a time in the past 300 years where the Giants played a football game and at the presser, had the injuries or whatever like that? Oh, I don't know. I think we did pretty good. I don't know if any injuries. Not that I know of. One of our players was sneezing on the side. He might have caught a cold, but I think we came out all right. I think. Or at the Monday presser. So anybody on it? No, we came out pretty good. Has that ever happened to the Giants? It happens to other teams. Not every week, but has that ever happened to the Giants? Go back to 1925. I know it's football, but there are teams, other teams out there. I mean, they just don't seem to get injuries. It's like, they run, they get tackled, they tackle, they throw, they catch, they this, that. How do they play 60 minutes of football and they walk off the field and they pretty healthy? And we this and that, and the same thing those other teams do. And we have like 312 players going on IR every week. It's like, how is that? That's just. Let's see. It says the locker room is dead. Injured leaders have vanished. Many players have tapped out. Some are still on the field. Some aren't. There are private snickers about the offensive's lack of imagination, the team's absence of leadership, and the dearth of talent. Now, you don't know with the lack of imagination on the offense and all. Well, what do you're trying to put a basic offense in there, and Drew Lock keeps throwing pick sixes. I mean, so what do you want to, how much creativity, can these quarterbacks handle that? Can you handle the truth? Right? I mean, can they handle that? These quarterbacks can't even stay healthy for a half without having to come out and miss a game or so, or whatever. So, Daboll is playing with a very, very, very thin hand, right? Let's see here. And there's a genuine player questions about where in the world this program is heading with this roster. Left tackle Andrew Thomas Friday's comments about the Giants' future. It's going to take some time, but I think we'll get there. Had to send shivers down fans' spines. Take some time. On 7, the old 7-year plan. Shane forgot to mention that when he and Daboll loaded up to win in 2023 and crashed their so-called rebuild into a deeper disaster than they inherited. Here is the shocking truth. The Giants' deterioration into a skeleton of an NFL operation is not part of any plan. It is simply the fruit of Shane's labor. It is the result of the decisions he has made, the players he has picked, and his absence of a coherent and consistent plan. Is it Shane's decisions that all these guys get injured? No. Was it Shane's decision that Andrew Thomas gets injured? No. Shane's decision that Sexy Dexy gets injured? No. Was it Shane's decision that for the one game against the Ravens where we gave up 5 touchdown passes, our 3 cornerbacks were all out? No. Sorry. No. Right? Shane's decision that Azeez Ojulari winds up getting injured once again? No, of course not. Is all these guys in the offensive line is that Shane's decision? No. But these idiots who write these articles, everything is Shane's fault or Daboll's fault. Let's see. Shane would have been better off going by Madden ratings like the Jets' Woody Johnson does. Honestly, it might have protected him from so many catastrophic errors. As it is, the Giants leaking through a midweek report that Mara could be planning on sticking by Shane, but asking him to replace Daboll. But that would simply prolong the dysfunction. Pretending Shane isn't involved in every facet of the Giants' current operation is, wow. I mean, Shane doesn't call the plays and, scheme. Shane watches film with the coaches and players every week and has been seen by players several times in the locker room talking to players. So what is this attempt at somehow removed from the ground floor while Barkley runs wild for the Eagles? Well, you can't compare the two. The Eagles have no salary cap, right? The Eagles have a good offensive line. The Eagles have maybe the best offensive line coach in football. The Eagles, I know Hurts has had a concussion, but the Eagles are a lot really injury-free, unlike the Giants. The Eagles have 2 number 1 wide receivers. The Giants do not. Right? I said, once again, the Eagles do not have a salary cap. They just keep bringing guys in, pay them absolutely nothing first couple of years, and push all the money down the road and void your contracts. The Giants do not do that. The Eagles do. That's why the Eagles have such a good team. Now, the Eagles have good players on the team, but the biggest reason that the Eagles have so many good players on their team, right, is one, they're really, really injury-free. I know Hurts got injured, but they're not decimated like the Giants are. They're not decimated like the Lions are on defense. If they were, the Eagles would not be where they are right now. So the Eagles are lucky they're healthy, but the Eagles do not have a salary cap because Howie Roseman can just keep bringing in star after star after star, like Saquon. Anybody he wants, he can bring him in. He can bring in anybody he wants, pay him like a couple $1 million a year this year. And at the end of the contract, have 4 void years and pay them 4 years after they're off the contract, after they're gone. If you look at their contracts, a lot of these stars, they all have 4 void years on after their contract. They do not have a salary cap in Philadelphia. That's the biggest reason why they're where they are. If they were like most other teams, without putting all the void years on the contracts, the Eagles would not be in the position they're in. They would be closer to the middle of the pack. They would not be anywhere near sniffing the Super Bowl. The only reason why the Eagles are sniffing the Super Bowl, once again, I said, is because obviously they're really, really healthy. I said, I know Hurts, he has a concussion. I don't know how long he'll be out for, whatever. I don't know. But they do not have a salary cap in Philadelphia. They have like almost $300-400 million in money pushed down the road. They owe Jalen Hurts like $97.5 million in 2028 or something like that. 2020, one of those years, they owe him almost $100 million. Just push all its contract money down the road. So that way this year they can have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Hurts, and Saquon Barkley only count like about $10 million or whatever it is. It's a small amount of money toward the cap. Right? Meanwhile, between Devontae Smith, Brown, Hurts, and Saquon, they should almost count about $100, $110, $120 million toward the cap at their annual salary. They're about $110, maybe $115 million a year they should go. That's what they should be costing the Eagles this year. It's costing them maybe like $30 million. Well, where's all that other money going? It's just all pushed down the road. That's all the Eagles do. Right. Let's see. It is funny that anyone would try to excuse the Barkley decision by arguing that never would he have succeeded in New York because the Eagles are stacked with talent. People act like the Eagles are automatically that good. GM Howie Roseman built it. No. He is I'll tell you what, you give Howie Roseman the Giants offensive line coach, and you give Howie Roseman the fact that he can't push all this money down the road, and guess what? The Eagles aren't that good. So I don't know what this person's smoking here. The Eagles O-line includes 7th-round pick Jordan Mailata, 2nd-round pick Landon Dickerson, 2nd-round pick Cam Jurgens, Mekhi Becton, the 1st-round pick, and Lane Johnson, who's the 3rd number overall pick. So basically, the Eagles have 2 2nd-rounders and 2 1st-rounders on their line, and then Jordan Mailata. But they have the best, if not the one, they're the 2nd best offensive line coaches in the entire league, maybe 3rd. And they have a really good offensive line coach. We do not. We have a decent one who might be in the middle of the pack, but we do not have an elite offensive line coach. Okay. Mekhi Becton, once again, they're lucky. What did Mekhi Becton, what did all he do when he was with the Jets? Now, it could be the turf. I don't know. Eagles play on grass. Jets play on turf. Could be the turf. Absolutely, positively could be that could be it. Okay. Mekhi Becton said everything stinks about MetLife Stadium. Everything, he said. Well, but what did Mekhi Becton do when he was with the Jets? He's talking about, they retransformed Mekhi Becton. Well, he's also staying healthy too. He never did that with the Jets. So it's like, oh, you got Howie Roseman. He's so wonderful, so unbelievable. He took Mekhi Becton, and now he's great and all that. Well, they're lucky he's staying healthy. He couldn't stay healthy with the Jets. I know one of the years, like the opening one or two of the years, like the opening game, he got injured. He's like out for the whole season with the Jets. He's not doing that with the Eagles. Once again, they're getting lucky. They're staying healthy. Yeah. So, but I Can't stand the Eagles. Absolutely can't stand the Eagles. Daboll said, I just focus on things I can control. He said, I'd say we have a number of conversations about a lot of different things that I'll keep private. Asked if he and Shane responsibilities are separate enough to blame one and not the other. Daboll said, yeah, we're just getting ready here for the Falcons. Hey, at least they won't be a plane flying overhead with a banner this week. The Falcons playing in Dome. Yeah, so. But I mean, the thing is, it's like one of the things always brings me back to Alex Webster, who was the Giants coach from 69 to 73. He, one of the things, he resigned before the end of the 73 season. And the 73 season was, I mean, we're getting, it's a lot of the same things were happening in 73. The Giants lost 40-6 to the Rams on Monday Night Football. We lost, of course, this one to be etched in my mind forever, the 42-0 loss to the Oakland Raiders, the first time we ever played the Raiders. Then we lost 31-7, the final game of the season in the Yale Bowl, 31-7. I remember watching on TV. I think it was snow flurries coming down. Alex Webster was walking off the field. His final game with the Giants. He had told, I guess, Wellington or whatever, that he was going to resign at the end of the season. Then the Giants finished 2-11-1. They started off 1-0-1, right? And actually, the one game they tied early in the season was the second game of the season. They beat the Houston Oilers, because they were the Houston Oilers back then. They beat them 34-14. The second game of the season, they tied 23-23. The last game ever they played in Yankee Stadium. They tied on the last second field goal by Pete Gogolak. Had the game been another 30 seconds, the Giants were driving down the field. They got down around the 10-yard line or so. I think Bob Tucker caught a pass inbounds. The clock was running. Pete Gogolak's running on the field. They just snapped the ball just in time, and he kicked the ball through the uprights to tie the game. But had the game been another 30 or 40 seconds, the Giants might have scored, might have won that game. But anyway, they finished 1-0-1. Started off with 1-0-1 in 73. After that, they got kicked out of Yankee Stadium because they were rebuilding Yankee Stadium or remodeling. But they went to the Yale Bowl. They finished the rest of the season. They finished 1-11. They won one game. That was they beat the Cardinals at the Yale Bowl. But the thing is that the 73 season was just so horrible that Alex Webster, he resigned before the end of the season. He said, at the end of the season, I'm going to call it quits. And the one thing he said was, if there's ever a point in time where I don't think I can fix it, it's time for me to leave. And he had no answers. He had no answers. He didn't know what to do. And I said they were just getting blown out. The year before, they're 8-6. Right? They had shot at the playoffs, and they went from 8-6 to 2-11-1, and they just plummeted. And he had didn't know how to fix it. And it's almost the same thing here, with what we got here, Daboll, right? It just doesn't seem like he has answers. I said, because a lot of times bad coaches are given bad hands, but good coaches can take bad hands, maybe not win games, but at least make the teams respectable, make the game competitive. And the Giants are just not doing that. And it's just Daboll saying the same thing over and over and over every week in and week out, week in and week out. Yeah, it's just not good enough. Yeah, just put that one on me. I mean, it's just same thing as with Joe Judge. Yeah, I got to watch the tape. It's after a while, that answer just doesn't fly anymore. And I don't know how much longer. I mean, one of the things that matters is, those guys are safe, but it's like, it was, what if we're just not competitive and we're getting blown out and we have no answers? I mean, you still want to keep this coach around? So we'll have to wait and see.